Hello, everyone. I hope that you are feeling blessed today and are feeling your best self, energized. If not, just keep praying and ask for strength for God to refill you and replenish you. I just got back from my trip and I am a little tired, but I still feel like I overcame all the challenges that were put before me. Um, my trip, I talked a little bit about it on the last recording. There was definitely a lot of things that were put in front of me. Um, I'm not sure if it was strategically designed that way or if it's because of the decisions that I made. So instead of focusing on the, the multiple events that happen, I am reflecting on the overall outcome of the trip and the final outcome of the trip. So the trip was rocky, right? So in life, while you're on your journey and you're seeking Christ and you're following Christ and you're building your relationship with Christ, you're gonna come across some rocky situations. And what did I what I tried to do this time, instead of me trying to pray away the situation and asking God to just, let the next day be peaceful, I just trusted. I said, Lord, I trust you. I trust this process. I'm not going to question why I'm going through this or what's causing this. I'm just going to trust to see the outcome. And so the outcome being, I made it home safely. I made it home in time to be able to watch my daughter's award ceremony. I made it home in time to spend some time with my family, to get some rest, well needed rest. And I didn't have any issues coming home. So I didn't have to get rescued off the side of the road due to car issues or anything like that. So sometimes we go through things and we are immediately want to put everything in the eyes of a spiritual warfare. But unfortunately, sometimes you just go through things because you just go through things. Life be life, and life is difficult, it's complicated, it's complex. It has different avenues, different ups and downs. So it's okay to go through those things and not have it to be necessarily about the challenges aren't always a lesson, I guess. Sometimes we think we go through things because we're being punished or because we've done something, or God is testing us, or, but again, this particular situation, I just feel like it's just something that I went through. Um, but when I look over the entire week that I was on this trip, one thing that I am grateful for that I got out of after, the clouds have moved away, is I got closer to one of my really good friends. She's like a sister to me. And we learned a lot about each other on this trip. And so it was so funny because in the beginning of booking this trip, I was really nervous because I was going somewhere I've never been before, and I knew she's been there. And so I was like, I can't take a coworker with me like I wanted to. So I invited a friend to come along to kind of, ease some of my concerns about being in a place by myself. And one thing we realized is that me and her, as long as we've been friends, we have never taken a trip together before. So this was our first actual friends getaway trip outside of where we live. And we learned a lot. We had a lot of fun. We had a lot of laughs. in the midst of the challenges that was really going on. Like, it was crazy. I'm pretty sure she was like, "Oh my gosh, I was a lot." I am very, when I get frustrated or upset, it shows. It's not hidden, and I could I can sense people when they're pacifying me because they're wanting me to calm down. They're wanting me to feel better. It's coming from a loving place, and I'm wanting that too. But for some reason, I stay in this place of guardedness, and I'm not sure why, but it remains there and it stays there, and I acknowledge that it's there, and I pray, and it's like, Lord, I acknowledge this, but I'm not sure if I should be praying this away or allowing it to be. And so I didn't pray it away, but I acknowledged it in my prayers. And so today I realized that part of that guardedness, that alertness that I had, was my protective mode. Like, it was keeping, it was partly keeping us safe. Not saying that we were ever in danger. I never saw us in danger. Like, I never felt like I was in danger of my life. I never felt scared. I just felt like the strong need to stay guarded the entire time, but still enjoy. And so, a lot was happening during that time on the news. We were seeing things, nothing criminal, violent wise, but just some things that were changing the world, changing the U.S., you know, history breaking politics situations. There were some, heartbreaking policy changes that were happening. And it was just trying to navigate through that on my journey. So I'm saying all that to say this. When you're on your journey with Christ and you find yourself feeling like you're in a position to where you don't know what direction to go, like you don't want to feed into your old self, but you feel your old self creeping in, and you don't want to give in to that side of you, but at the same time you feel the pull to standing firm in what you're believing, like really firm in what you're believing. It's okay. It's okay as long as you're aware of it and you're not reacting on that. So for me, I did feel myself going into some of my old ways. I did feel like I was being very disconnected, but I also was, as I acknowledged it, I kept communicating with Christ about what I was feeling so that I wouldn't stray. Like, Lord, I'm not intentionally trying to stray from you. I'm not intentionally trying to allow my flesh, my normal self, my old self, overcome me. And I do want to make sure that I'm making decisions that you are pleased with. So despite how I'm feeling, even though I'm feeling my old way, I'm not operating in that capacity. That was really important to me because it's hard when you are trying to build yourself up to be um, a devout Christian, right? So there are things, like you said, there are things that you do, things that you don't do. There are things that you say, things that you don't say. But at the same time, you're not trying to forcefully change yourself. You're trying to allow God to change yourself. So I'm making sure that the things that I'm going through and the way that I'm responding, I'm trying to dissect what part of it is natural, meaning this part of me has changed because God has changed it, and what part of it is a decision, meaning I'm still working on this, but because I know better, I do better. So I am making myself respond the way that I know I should respond. Um, And I say all that because a lot of times you are put in a position where people try to put you in a box, or they try to classify you. And it's not that they're doing it out of maliciousness or judgment. It's just sometimes it's easier for people to be able to put you on a line in order to know for their sake how to respond to you, or how to treat you, or how to be there for you even. And when you're going through this process, you don't really fit in one particular box. you know, you don't fit in this line or that line because you're in molding process. Um, and until that particular process is complete, you don't necessarily move on to the next phase or the next step. So you're in the intermission part of it. And when you're in that intermission part and you're engaging with people and you're engaging with friends and things, it's kind of a challenge to for them, because they don't really know what direction to go or how to handle you, or be there for you. So there was a lot this week that I'm still processing. I had another death in the family, on top of travel issues, on top of some separation anxiety and financial stress, like all of that while on this trip, and still dealing with it today. But the old me, so this is where I recognize my growth. So let's talk about it, right? Recognizing your growth. The old me, dealing with as many obstacles, dealing with as many challenges, as many situations that came my way today or this week, I would have had a full blown, in my mind, justifiable meltdown, right? Justifiable meltdown. I would have justified my anger. I would have justified my emotions. I would have justified it, every bad decision that I made, to my situation. But instead, I acknowledged my situation. I acknowledged my emotions. And I still refuse to focus on those things. I still allow myself to trust God. I still allow myself to continue day to day and doing what I felt like God wanted me to do in that time, in that place, in that moment, so that He did not lose the glory or the value that was important at that moment. So I'm recognizing growth in me today. And while you're on your journey, I hope and I pray that you recognize your growth as well. When you're being put in situations, or you're being um, challenged on just normal everyday stuff, right? Because that's what it is. It's just normal everyday stuff. When you're being challenged with normal everyday stuff, I hope that you are able to see your growth. I hope that you're able to recognize how, man, you know what? 3 years ago, I would have did A, B, C, and D, but I didn't do that this time. I hope you're able to see that and understand that that is what happens when you get closer to God. You will start noticing the changes in your heart, that purity, the evolution that comes with, or the elevation that comes with getting closer to God. So, throughout your process, it's important for you to acknowledge, if nobody else does, because sometimes they won't. Matter of fact, part of you feeling like you're being challenged because of who you are, because that happened this week as well. I felt like my personality, my character, my meaning, my morals, everything was also being challenged in different areas, different aspects, and different situations. But I was able to respond in a way that that was not my old way of responding. I was able to respond in a way where I was able to acknowledge, yeah, I am this way because of my my relationship with God. Yes, I am this way because I'm building a relationship with God. And even though people don't want to hear that, it's like, oh, here you go, you back there talking about this. But as a true follower of Christ, anytime I'm going to give him acknowledgement in things that are different at me, if it's the true reason they're different at me. And so don't be afraid to acknowledge your growth. If someone is trying to, I ain't gonna say calling you out because that sounds so negative. If someone is recognizing a change in you and they speak on it, don't get offensive. Listen and hear what they're saying. Evaluate what they're saying, and then come to the true conclusion. Is this change, does this change have anything to do with my walk with Christ? Or is this something that I may need to work on? Do I need to take this to Christ? Like, Lord, somebody noticed this about me today. Is this something you want me to focus on? And allow that to be your direction when you're being approached about your growth or a change in you. So I really hope this blessed someone today. I look forward to seeing what tomorrow brings. It is a holiday. I had big plans for tomorrow. I am not feeling one way or another about these plans, so I'm deciding on whether or not if God's going to lead me to follow through with the plans or change my mind altogether. So if you are out there and you're celebrating 4th of July, just be safe. Make it your holiday. Find your reason for celebrating this holiday and acknowledge those that you would have celebrated with that are no longer here. And just take a moment. Every holiday, you should just take a moment and embrace those that are around you. So be safe, enjoy, and I'll talk to you guys soon.